Hello and welcome back to diving into project management expertise. In our last episode, we explored risk management, where we learned how to identify, assess and mitigate risks before they sidetrack a project. But there is one type of risk that causes more project failures than anything else: financial risk. Did you know that nearly 85% of projects experience budget overruns? It's one of the most common reasons why projects fail. A budget isn't just a number, it's the financial roadmap that keeps your project on track. Yet, many project managers struggle with it. Have you ever been on a project where costs kept increasing unexpectedly? Or where a stakeholder approved a budget only to later say, "We can't afford this anymore"? A project that starts with €500,000 budget can suddenly balloon to €700,000 or more if costs aren't carefully controlled. That's why today's episode is all about budgeting and cost control in project management. By the end of this episode, you'll learn how to create an accurate project budget so you avoid underestimations, techniques to track and control costs effectively so you never get caught off guard, how to prevent budget overruns and financial risks so you can deliver projects within budget every time. Managing project finances isn't just about sticking to a number. It's about forecasting accurately, tracking spending, and making strategic adjustments before things spiral out of control. So let's get started. A well-planned budget should act as a financial roadmap of a project. But in reality, budget overruns happen all the time, often because of avoidable mistakes. Did you know, according to Project Management Institute, over 50% of projects exceed their budget due to poor cost estimation and mismanaged changes? Let's explore the most common reasons why projects go over budget, so you can recognize and prevent them before they impact your project. Reason number 1: poor cost estimation at the beginning. The number one cause of budget overruns is inaccurate cost estimation. Many project managers either underestimate costs to gain stakeholder approval or fail to account for hidden expenses. Something from my experience. A company once planned to develop a custom CRM system and estimated €150,000 for the entire project. However, they failed to factor in software licenses, integrations, and ongoing maintenance costs, which end up adding an extra €50,000 to the budget. How to prevent this? Break down the project into detailed cost categories: labor, materials, licenses, contingency, etc. Use historical data from past projects to ensure realistic cost estimation. Always include a contingency buffer, typically 10 to 20% of the estimated budget. Reason number 2: scope creep is the silent budget killer. Scope creep, unplanned scope expansion, happens when additional features like tasks or requirements are added midway through the project, increasing costs beyond the original budget. For example, a company budgets €50,000 for a global ad campaign. Midway, the CEO requests customized videos for different regions, influencer partnerships, and real-time analytics dashboards, none of which were in the original plan. The total cost suddenly jumps to €85,000. How to prevent this? Clearly define the scope and deliverables in the project charter and budget plan. Use change control procedures to assess the impact of scope changes before approving them. Set realistic stakeholder expectations upfront about what is included versus not included in the budget. Reason number 3: inaccurate time estimates. The link between time and budget. Many people don't realize that underestimating time also leads to budget overruns. Why? Because more time, higher labor costs, increased overhead, and delayed project delivery penalties. A 6-month office renovation is estimated to cost €200,000. Due to poor scheduling and unexpected supplier delays, the project extends to 9 months, adding €60,000 in additional labor and operational costs. How to prevent this? Use historical project data to set realistic timelines. Apply time estimation techniques like critical path method. Have a buffer time for unforeseen delays in your cost estimates. More about time estimation in the second episode of this series. Reason number 4: inflation and price fluctuations. Cost of materials, labor, and services are constantly changing due to inflation, supply chain disruptions, and market fluctuations. For example, a building project is estimated at €1.2 million based on current steel and concrete prices. 6 months later, global supply chain issues caused material prices to increase by 30%, pushing the cost to €1.5 million. How to preempt this? Negotiate fixed price contracts with vendors whenever possible. Regularly review market trends and factor inflation risks into budget planning. Maintain a contingency fund for price fluctuations, typically 5 to 15%. Reason number 5: poor resource allocation and waste. Inefficient use of resources, whether it's overstaffing, poor procurement decisions, or underutilized tools, can drive up costs unnecessarily. For instance, a company hires 15 developers for a project that realistically only needs 10. Since salaries are the biggest cost in software projects, this results in an unnecessary expense of €250,000 over 6 months. How to prevent this? Conduct a resource optimization analysis before hiring. Use cost-effective outsourcing where possible. Track resource utilization rates and adjust staffing as needed. Reason number 6: uncontrolled change orders and rework. Changes that require reworking previously completed tasks add significant cost in terms of labor and materials. A company producing 10,000 custom printed shirts realizes the logo design is incorrect after production begins. This mistake forces them to redo the printing process, costing an additional €20,000. How to prevent this? Use quality assurance checkpoints to catch errors early. Enforce a strict approval process before implementing changes. Educate stakeholders on the cost impact of late-stage changes. So, how to create a realistic project budget? Step number 1: define the scope and deliverables. Before assigning any numbers, you must define exactly what the project will deliver. A clear scope ensures that all estimated costs align with the project's actual needs. With a clear scope, it's impossible to estimate an accurate budget, increasing the risk of unexpected costs later. Step number 2: identify and categorize all project costs. Next, you need to list out all the potential costs associated with the project. These typically fall into 3 categories: direct costs, expenses directly related to the project, such as materials, equipment, labor, and software. Indirect costs, overhead costs that support the project, such as office space, utilities, and administration. And contingency costs, extra budget set aside for unexpected expenses or inflation. For a new mobile app project, the project manager breaks costs into direct costs, developer salaries, software licenses, cloud storage. Indirect costs, office rent, internet, IT support, and contingency cost is 15% of buffer for unexpected testing delays or feature changes. How to do it effectively? Break down costs into detailed line items, not just a single number for each phase. Use past project budget as reference points for better accuracy. Include hidden costs like taxes, compliance fees, or subcontractor markups. Step number 3. Estimate costs using reliable techniques. Cost estimation is one of the trickiest parts of budgeting, but using proven estimation methods can improve accuracy. Top estimation techniques. Analogous estimating, using costs from similar past projects as a reference. Parametric estimating, using data-driven formulas, for example, cost per unit, to estimate total expenses. Bottom-up estimating, estimating costs for each project task and adding them together. And 3-point estimating, creating best case, worst case, and most likely cost scenarios. This method provides a more accurate cost estimate by considering 3 different scenarios. First one is an optimistic estimate, best case scenario with minimal delays or cost overruns. Second one, pessimistic estimate, worst case scenario with maximum risks. And the third one, most likely estimate, the most realistic cost based on past data and expert judgment. To find the final estimate, we use this simple formula that you currently see on your screen. Optimistic plus 4 times the most likely plus pessimistic divided by 6. This formula gives more weight to the most likely scenario while still accounting for potential risks. Let's say you are budgeting for a software project. Optimistic cost: €100,000 if everything goes perfectly. Pessimistic cost: €160,000 if major issues arise. Most likely cost: €120,000 based on past projects. When using this formula, we get €123,000, the final estimate, and is higher than the most likely estimate, €120,000. This shows that factoring in uncertainties and risks slightly increases the expected cost. Without this method, you might have under-budgeted based on just the most likely scenario. How to estimate the costs effectively? Use at least 2 estimation methods to cross-validate numbers. Involve team members and subject matter experts in cost estimation discussions. Always include a buffer for unknown risks, typically from 10 to 20% of the total budget. Step number 4. Develop a budget baseline. Once costs are estimated, the next step is to establish a baseline, the approved budget that will be used for tracking expenses throughout the project. How to set a budget baseline? Create a detailed budget document listing all estimated costs. Get approval from stakeholders before moving forward. Set clear budget variance limits, for example, allowing a 5% deviation before reapprovals are required. Imagine a company launches a €100,000 product launch campaign with the following parameters: €60,000 allocated for ads and promotions, €20,000 for influencer partnerships, €10,000 for event planning, and another €10,000 for contingency for unexpected costs. With a clear budget baseline, the project manager can track expenses accurately and prevent overspending. How to do it effectively? Ensure the budget is realistic and aligned with project scope. Use budget approval workflows to avoid unauthorized expenses. Step number 5. Monitor and control costs in real time. A budget isn't a static document. It needs continuous monitoring to stay on track. Best practices for cost tracking. Use budget tracking tools like Excel, Microsoft Project, or Asana. Set up budget checkpoints at each project phase. Track actual versus planned expenses to detect overspending early. For example, an event planner, when tracking venue costs, catering and marketing expenses, realizes the venue fee is exceeding the budget. By identifying this early, they negotiate a discount or adjust spending elsewhere. How to monitor and control costs effectively? Set early warning systems. Establish budget overrun thresholds to detect financial risks before they escalate. For example, set a 5% variance limit if spending exceeds this threshold. An immediate review is triggered to prevent major cost overruns. Establish a change control process to handle budget changes properly. Use Earned Value Management, or EVM, to measure budget performance. EVM compares planned work, actual progress, and costs to determine whether a project is on track. EVM compares three key values. Planned value, the budgeted cost of work planned to be completed by a given time. Earned value, the budgeted cost of the work actually completed by that time. And actual cost, the actual amount spent on the work completed. How it works? If earned value is more than actual cost, you are under budget, which is great. If earned value is less than actual cost, you are over the budget and there is a problem. If earned value is more than planned value, you are ahead of schedule, which is also great. If earned value is less than planned value, you are behind schedule and there is a problem. Step number 6. Adjust and reforecast the budget when needed. Even with perfect planning, unexpected cost changes will happen. The key is to adjust proactively rather than reacting too late. Best practices for budget reforecasting. Conduct monthly budget reviews to reassess cost projections. Use a contingency fund to handle unplanned expenses. Communicate budget changes transparently with stakeholders. A software development project faces a 3-month delay due to unexpected technical issues. To keep costs under control, the project manager updates the budget, reallocating funds from non-essential features to fix critical bugs. This ensures that financial resources are prioritized for essential fixes, keeping the project financially viable without exceeding the overall budget. Staying with budget is one of the biggest challenges in project management. Even the best planned projects can fail if costs spiral out of control. A strong project budget requires careful planning and continuous tracking. Cost overruns don't happen overnight, they build up over time due to small unchecked changes. Proactive budget management ensures financial sustainability through the project lifecycle. Successful project managers don't just track costs, they anticipate and control them before problems arise. Because budgeting isn't just about numbers, it's about making smart decisions, allocating resources effectively, and ensuring long-term project success. But even with great budgeting skills, modern project managers are facing another shift: technology. Technology is transforming how projects are managed. That's what we'll explore in episode 9, AI and automation in project management, the future of project manager tools. In episode 9, we'll dive into how AI is reshaping project planning, forecasting, and risk management, the rise of automation tools and their impact on efficiency, real-world examples of companies using AI to improve project outcomes. What's the biggest challenge you face when managing project budgets? Drop the comment below. I'd love to hear your experience. This helps this video to be seen by more viewers. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next episode. Thanks for watching and I'll see you soon. Bye bye!